Welcome to another edition of Pants Optional. It's our Zoom interview segment where we chat with comic book creators about their latest projects and get the lowdown from the waist up. I'm Jason Bennett, Chief Editor of Pop Cult HQ, and today I'm joined by the writer and creator of Halloween Man, a title packed with humor, heart, and horror, which is celebrating their 20th anniversary this October. His anniversary issue, number 25 of Halloween Man Beyond October, arrives digitally on Comixology on October 14th, and he was selected as a nominee for the 2020 Ringo Awards as Best Writer. Please welcome Drew Edwards. Drew, welcome to the show.
Howdy, y'all. I hello from Texas. Of course, that's howdy being our traditional greeting. I sometimes try to stunt the howdy, but it just comes out. It's too culturally ingrained.
That's okay, man. Represent where you're from. That's good. Hey, first of all, congratulations on the Ringo nomination, man. Such an honor, and the company that you're alongside with, like Beth Lemire and Erica Schultz, Mark Russell, Mariko Tamaki. How's that been for you?
I feel like when I saw that, my jaw hit the floor, and I've been kind of dragging the jaw ever since. Especially some of the other people that I am with, as an indie, because a lot of those other people, they're people that have worked with like the big two, which I have never done. Feel like the underdog in this case. Like I definitely feel like it's a bit of a Rocky Balboa situation. I'm dating myself with that reference, but there you go. It's gratifying, and flattering and an honor. And I just, I know it's a cliche to say it's an honor just to be nominated, but it is an honor just to be nominated and to be mentioned alongside all those wonderful talents. And, I just, can I say gobsmacked? Because I'm gobsmacked. That's
sure
what I keep saying.
I love it. No, definitely. It's and it's also a real testament to the writing that you're producing that outside of these other names that, like you say, like Lemire was on last year's, but you're giving me an example similar to Ryland Grant last year when he was nominated for Best Writer. He was kind of the outsider looking in. And so it's a testament to your writing that they're seeing the talent that's in the indie pool per se, and that you're definitely catching some people's eye. So that's very impressive.
Yeah, and again, very flattering.
Sure, I bet. Well, let's talk about a little bit about Halloween Man. For those who may be new to the title, can you take us on a trip to Solar City and give us a general rundown of just who is the Halloween Man?
So my elevator pitch that I give at every convention that I've ever gone to is Halloween Man is the weird adventures of a undead superhero and his sexy mad scientist girlfriend as they fight everything from the Invisible Man, the Loch Ness Monster, vegetarian vampires, things of that nature. It's very quirky. You mentioned Solar City. Well, Solar City is Solar City, Texas. So it does take place in Texas because you write about what you know and love. And, I most of the other major superheroes are in New York. I wanted to create a superhero that's based in my home state. But it's an alternate version of Texas. It's a retro-futuristic Texas, sort of it's got a bit of what the 1940s thought the future might be like, but also with a little bit of Southern charm to it, I'd like to think. And, a lot of bizarre characters. You have, of course, Halloween Man and Lucy, but you also have a character called Man Goat, who has the powers of a man-sized goat. And you have a necromancer named Morlock, who is visually based off of George Carlin, and he's never, ever seen in anything but a bathrobe. So I that's just like a small sampling of the characters that I've got going on. Essentially what I wanted to do is pay homage to everything that I've ever loved in pop culture, which is monster movies obviously, but also Silver Age comic books, old pulps, old sci-fi, and just sort of throw it in a blender and throw it back out in kind of filtered through my worldview and how I see things. Classic horror.
And it's funny when you mentioned about the George Carlin like guy. When I was reading, when I looked over issue 25, and I am instantly I know who you're speaking of, because I when I saw him, I instantly thought of Carlin's character in Dogma, I
Yeah.
think. And so it was good to see him around, and Dogma. It was one of the Kevin Smith films, but it definitely gave me that Carlin vibe. Great stuff. Hey, so I mean, 20 years is quite a long time to have with an original project like this, and I'm sure you've experienced highs and lows and all sorts of things. I mean, not only is the series going on, it's spun some one shots, a couple mini series. Uh, what's been your proudest moment over the last 20 years?
So it's tough for me to pick like an absolute favorite. I can tell you probably my proudest achievements, that doesn't involve me having to like pick and choose through all the different stories, because there's been a lot of great moments. I think I always point people to the crossover we did with Hack Slash a couple of years ago. We did a mini series called Hallowtide, which I'm really proud of. But it's really difficult to nail anything down to my absolute favorite. So as far as an achievement, in 2018, we're talking about awards again. In 2018, I won an Austin Chronicle Award for Best Comic Book Creator. That's everybody and there's a tremendous amount of comic book creators in Austin because it's an arts motivated city. And again, like with, I was up against, for example, Donny Cates in that. And so again, I was kind of the underdog in that. And I won. And that's something that just people in Austin can vote on. That was a moment for me. Like I just kind of, I don't mind saying it. Like I got, a little weepy when I learned that I won, and it's something that I still look back on, and I smile. It made me really, really proud, because I have a lot of civic pride as well as Texas pride. So something like that, it means a lot to me. And I know that's not necessarily like a story per se, but when you are an indie creator, you sometimes aren't necessarily the go-to for awards like that. So that meant a lot to me. So far as like the ups and downs of 20 years, when I created this comic, it was kind of as therapy. I don't mind saying that, like because even though we were talking about this earlier when I was trying to describe the comic, and hopefully describing it well, but it's quirky and it's got a lot of heart and humor to it. I created this comic to cope with a lot of pain, because it was born out of me coping with the death of my twin. And so like when you talk to me about pride involving this comic, it was able, my twin was killed in a car accident, and when we were when we were not even 21 years old. And so this comic gave me something to get out of bed. And so the thing that I take pride in, and it's directly related into the comic, is that I'm still here. And it's no accident that the character in the comic, that Solomon, that Halloween Man, is a character that's primary power, if you will, is endurance. And he's all great monsters, he's very tough. But that's because I needed that as almost kind of a way to make myself feel strong. And so when you ask me what I'm proud of, outside of awards or particular stories, I'm proud that I'm still here, and that I'm a survivor, and that I made it. Because there's plenty of times where I very nearly did not. I can speak. And again, I hope I'm not going too far off the original question here, but 10 years ago, or a little over 10 years ago, I was in a psychiatric hospital for trying to kill myself. I could very easily have not made it. And doing this comic book helped me get through those really dark times. And writing these stories helped me make sense of a world that a lot of the times did not make sense.
It definitely sounds like it was therapeutic for you in your own personal growth and your journey to where you are now. So, congratulations on overcoming the obstacles and still being here 20 years into it.
Thank you.
Speaking of 20 years, so like we were just saying, not only can you find all the Halloween Man issues on, one shots, miniseries, now on Comixology. Most of the issues you can get for only 99 cents each. And if you're
Yes.
a if you're, what do they call it? A Comixology Unlimited,
Comixology Unlimited.
a lot of them are free. So you can just start reading right now. Go check them out. Your upcoming 25th issue, which was October 14th, is slated for release. It's just packed. And not only just with its page count, but with the creators that you got attached to it and involved with it. How'd you get this group of creators to all come together for your anniversary issue?
A lot of them, like for example, Nicola Scott and Evan Queering, Sergio Calve, a lot of the people that were involved with it were people that I have worked with before and have gone on to do other things, but still occasionally pop in to do stuff because they like the characters. And
Yeah.
although some of them, I'll mention, in particular, a man named Max Young, are people that I've met through conventions. I met him at Staple last year. So it was all people that I had some kind of connection with. And I wanted to work with people that there was an emotional resonance for with this, because it was such an important issue. Like for example, because Nicola did the cover, I wanted that because her first work in the United States was on Halloween Man. And I wanted a particular image, and I knew that she would bring that love of the characters to it, and it shows in the image. And then, I'm not going to say what happens in the pages, but towards the end of the issue, Sergio came in to do a very important sequence, and he's drawn more Halloween Man than just about anybody. And I picked him for those pages because of that, because I knew he would put the level of love and importance into that. Like, because when you've done this as long as I have, you have a big talent pool to pull from. I had a different artist in mind for every scene, and that I thought that they would work well with a particular scene that they were chosen for. A good comic book jam issue to me should be like your a quilt that your grandmother made for you. It should have enough contradictions in style, but feel very cozy once you've pulled it up around your neck and everything to warm you up. And that's what I would like to say that the vibe of this is. If such a thing that can be said that involves ghosts and monsters and dinosaurs, as it were, all kinds of creepy crawly things. So I guess it's your maybe grandmother from the Addams family, but a grandmother nonetheless. But yeah, it's a crazy quilt of a comic, but I'm really happy with how it turned out.
I love it. I love it. And with its October 14th debut, and with Halloween just right on around the corner after that, which we were talking offline, you said you were excited for. Do you have any plans for the holiday featuring Solomon Hitch, the Halloween Man, or as far as promotion? I know things are a little bit different now in this COVID world as far as appearances, but anything that you have planned?
Well, there is going to be a event hosted on Zoom through Facebook, which is going to have myself and some of the other people that have worked on the comic over the years. I haven't announced all the creators yet, but that's going to be hosted by Castle Bridge Media, which is an indie book publisher, and Jason Henderson, who I do a podcast with called Castle of Horror. He's going to moderate, and I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be at 8:00, I think Central Time on October 30th. As far as the actual day of Halloween, I'm still trying to figure that out. There's a lot of different happen normally, but is not going to happen this year. I love Halloween to do too much to do nothing, so I will definitely figure something out. As far as the comic book goes, there has been a new issue of Halloween Man coming out every 2 weeks, leading up to the 20th anniversary issue, and even after that, on October 28th, there's a Halloween Man special coming out that's Halloween Man versus the Mummy. So the 20th anniversary issue is not even your last dose of Halloween Man this October. So we're really doing it up as big as we possibly can, digitally speaking, of course, because this is all being released on Comixology.
Well, this is definitely October is definitely your month, man. If it's any time to pull out the big punches, this is it. And the October 30th Facebook video stream sounds great, and yeah, that's probably enough. The night before Halloween, and Halloween's on a Saturday this year, isn't it?
Yes, and it's got a full moon, so maybe I'll just turn into a werewolf and howl a little bit, just to get that extra Halloween spirit. And
you got the camera rolling because you gotta be able to share that with the world.
I would probably go viral, I would imagine, if I could pull that one off.
Let's hope so. Hey, with 20 years worth of Halloween Man under your belt now, what do the next 20 years look like for the character and this universe that you've built?
It's no accident that the anniversary issue is called Beyond October, because it's setting up a lot of new monsters, new villains, and new status quo things. And I don't want to spoil too much, but those who have been following along, back in February, we started a storyline that was delayed up until a few weeks ago, called The Valentine's Day That Time Forgot, which is a dinosaur story, because I'm also a big paleontology nut. And I mean, I don't know too many monster fans who don't also like dinosaurs. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but I will just say very, 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 cryptic word, Dino-geddon. That's something you have to look forward to. Yeah.
All right. That sounds like something of epic proportions.
I want to do my weird version of a epic comic book. The big companies have their big crossovers. I want to do my version of that, but the difference being is DC and Marvel, all their characters have to go back to their status quo at the end of the day. As an indie publisher, I don't. I can actually play for keeps. So when I go and do a big storyline, and there's quite a few along on the road to that, and I'll just throw out a couple of story titles just to give you an idea of things to look out for. There's a storyline called Entropy. There's a storyline called The Goblin Universe. The storyline called Texelvania. All of those are our bumps along the road to where we're going in the future. And again, I'm playing for keeps. Like, once I put something out of my toy box, I don't have to put it back in. I don't have to make everything go back to the way it was. And that's why I'm hoping when people try this as an indie comic, they're going to say, like, okay, this is exciting. I like that these characters can actually change and things can happen to them. And again, it all starts in that anniversary issue. You're going to see some stuff like you're hitting, your tumblers on a lock. You're going to start to see that with this anniversary issue and everything that happens after that. So I have at least the next 5 years worth of comics planned out. So that's how I roll.
Very nice, very nice. Well, it definitely sounds like a great time. That it's all built up to this, the 20th anniversary issue number 25 of Halloween Man, coming October 14th to Comixology. Keep everything going Halloween Man in the month of October. On the 28th, pick up issue 20 Is it considered issue 26? The one on the
That is
20
Halloween Man special number 9.
special number 9. Okay.
That is one of the spin-off series. More like an annual if you're in your 40s like me and you read comics back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. 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 We'll just leave it at 40s. Definitely. So yeah. So and then of course we'll give you all the information so you can check out the live stream that'll happen on October 30th with Drew and Halloween Man. So Drew, thank you for taking the time speaking
Thank
with
you.
me, and we're really excited to share all the stuff going on with Halloween Man with our fans at Popcorn HQ. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. This is
Good luck at
great.
the Ringos.
I thank you. I'm gonna be pins and needles till that day.
Well, you know what? It was nice seeing on that the digital review copy you sent me, the saying the Ringo nominee on it. That's quite a stamp of approval. So congratulations, and yeah, best of luck and happy October.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
All right.